quirkier side of life. The Todd Starnes Commentary.
Affordable health care is a life or death matter for Edie Sundby. She has stage 4 gallbladder cancer, and on December 31st, she will lose the insurance policy that is keeping her alive. Miss Sundby says she's not all that political, but she does have a few questions for President Obama. What happened to all those promises, like being able to keep her health plan or her doctor? Thanks to Obamacare, she's been forced to give up a world-class health plan, and the exchange will force her to give up a world-class doctor. Ms. Sundby wrote about her plight in a powerful Wall Street Journal column, a plight shared by millions of others. Take away people's ability to control their medical coverage, and they may die, she wrote. Maybe that's how the government plans on controlling medical expenses. Maybe that's the point. I'm Todd Starnes.
Back. Brain Durham's nothing but you. Thanks, Todd Starnes. Great to be with you all. Updating the old Facebook for you all to hop on there and make some comments about today's show. Do me a favor. I have a goal this week to get up to 5,000 likes. So could you like my page? Would you? Could you? Please. It'll be fun, I promise you, and you will have access to some extraordinary information. And you'll get to weigh in if you agree or disagree. Speaking about weighing in on healthcare costs and what's happening to them, specifically in dealing with Obamacare and how it's impacted them personally, we go to the great state of Louisiana and Larry Joe. LJ.
Rock, brother. You rock.
Hey, right back
Hello?
at you. Yeah, hit me, Ace.
Hey, listen, I want to ask a question, and I've tried to listen to all of the different pundits, you and everybody else on ARN, and even listen to some of the far leftists. But I haven't heard them ask Obama or his group or anybody ask anybody, how many people is this Obamacare going to take off the welfare roll? Is it going to help that, or are we still going to be lugged up with that?
Well, we look at Medicaid there, Larry, and LJ, and Medicaid, and that's increasing. So actually, and when we talk about welfare, there are a number of programs. I think 1/6 Americans are currently on a welfare program at this time. Now, we all understand that there are reasons why people need help. But one of the things that, in discussing this, I want to make clear is not criticizing those in need. It's how that need is met and the standards of the need. It's going to increase the overall size of government and people relying on government. We see that, in fact, and I'm blanking on the states right now. I want to say Washington State, but I'm not sure. Maybe I've got that because of McDermott earlier. But they're increasing the roles of a program that's already in big-time trouble, and 30 to 40% of doctors are not taking patients from Medicaid because, why? The reimbursement is not there. And we're also seeing the cut in costs in Medicare, not to get too into the weeds, has been cut as well. So the reimbursements in that way through Medicare Advantage. So you have some major league problems there. And again, it's not helping people in need, it's how we do it. And interestingly enough, it comes back to the point that we were talking about earlier, which was when you try to fix something, you're accused of not being compassionate. And people, low information voters, I guess, and those on the left really feel like you're not compassionate. Somehow you're the devil if you don't agree with them. Even if you're, quote, a moderate when it comes to your voting, you're accused of being the devil. Melissa Joan Hart is an actress. She was in that, I'm blanking on the teen movie. I just remember they did a remake of REO Speedwagon's Keep on Loving You in it. I turned when it was on, I was like, whoa, wait a second. That's a pretty good version of that song. But she is an actress. She's been in sitcoms. She is on currently, I guess, with Joey Lawrence Crane, do you belong to her fan club, man? Because you act like you don't really know, but you do. It's all coming back to me now. And I'm no longer a member of her fan club. I never really was. Thought of it. So here she is detailing what happened to her when she announced the fact that she was voting for Mitt Romney on the eve of the election and the response that she got. Now understand that she is considered a conservative, I guess, in Hollywood, but, well, CNS News brings us this clip. Roll it.
I got called every name in the book and told I was, they hope I die and they hope that my children are gay, which was like somehow supposed to be some sort of punishment. People called me words that even on having to post live, I'm not going to say. The hate was really unbelievable that I got from just saying that simple tweet. Just by saying I was voting. As a Rock the Vote generation, I was told that my vote counted and I had to get out and do that. So I put out, when people were asking, who are you voting for? Who are you voting for? And I, the night before the election, said I'm voting Romney. And it just, I all of a sudden was the devil.
Okay, well, yeah. Unfortunately, this needs to be addressed. Not Melissa Joan Hart. Let it go, Crane. It needs to be addressed of what happens to people who are conservatives. Specifically, if you are a Christian conservative like me and so many of you, many of us, and you declare those beliefs, maybe you sign a petition, maybe you get involved in legislative action, maybe you make a comment amongst friends or in a community, and the response from that. Now, I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the Second Amendment. I believe in the First Amendment. We'll talk about that actually next hour with Hans von Spakovsky. Really, Crane? Wow. That's really daring. You believe in these things. Yeah, I do, and I'm making a point here. I believe in the rule of law. I believe that you should stand up for what you believe in. I think we are called, and we are to be salt and light and not lose our saltiness in the sense of sacrificing our principles or going silent when we disagree with something. Now, how we do that is between you and God. And everybody has different focuses of what they put their focus and how they do it, and different styles on how they do it, or individuals. So how you express that, when you express it, maybe you go before abortion clinics with a sign. Maybe you work at a crisis pregnancy center. Maybe you run one, like my mother-in-law. She's amazing. And maybe you're part of the clergy in the sense of Pastor Aaron Free. Maybe you go through your church, though, and you play an active role there. I cannot deny the fact of when people do come out for their beliefs when it comes to marriage, when it comes to life, the left has a reaction that absolutely is of total intolerance and demonization and comparing you to what I like to call the all-star moron team, moron all-star team, or the Jerry Springer stage. And that would be the KKK, the Westboro Baptist Church, and Black Panthers. Okay? They're going to have, oh, by the way, did you hear about this? They're all going to have a fashion contest, the Westboro Baptist Church versus the KKK and the Black Panthers. Yeah, they're throwing down big time. Berets versus sheets versus, I don't know what the Westboro Baptist, I just see their signs that are despicable and sick and hateful. That said, that's what the idea, and that's the goal. And what happens is the reason they've been able to advance that, and we've seen it manifest in protests against places like Chick-fil-A, that are wildly unsuccessful because they haven't reached the threshold yet. And what they are trying to do is reach a threshold where if you believe in marriage between a man and woman, natural marriage, you believe there are differences between gender, you believe and you are a believer in Jesus Christ, and you believe Scripture to be true, what happens is those beliefs do not comport, they're not congruous with their ideology, and therefore you are a hater. If you do not support homosexual marriage, somehow you hate gay people. You don't hate homosexuality like sin, in the sense of sin, as you would hate other sins that are it's not the line of sin. Like, for example, you would look at the sin of out of wedlock relations. You can go down the line of sin, sexual immorality. But if that's it, and you define and you believe it's immoral, homosexuality is immoral, dare I say it. You also believe the other things are immoral, adultery, and a whole host of things. But you're not allowed to express that, and you're not allowed to express that opposition when it comes to the state redefining something that has been understood between a man and a woman. You're not allowed to recognize gender. You're not allowed to recognize God's plan. Now, I would say also for people who are not believers, what we believe is God's plan in natural marriage. Now, I'll get beat up on both sides because they'll say, well, why do you have to say we believe? Well, that's what we believe. We believe that is truth. We believe in absolute truth. We believe that Scripture is true. But some people don't. So that's why I say that. And they're right. Now, I pray they come to Christ, absolutely. Bottom line, if we keep silent, this is not going to go away, and it's going to get worse. Now, I got to tell you, interpersonally, I have seen this with friends of mine. The idea that I could be against homosexual marriage. That is so hate. Why do you hate? One, don't hate homosexuals. I'm a sinner, no better. So it's not about judging the individual. Homosexuality, why do we always talk about it? Because it's under attack. It's almost as if they say, why do you talk about something, but they're bringing up something that changes and redefines our society and redefines family, and they say, why do you keep bringing it up? Well, why do you keep putting it and trying to change it? Why do we have to deny the natural? Why do we have to deny genders? And this is what gets me. I sit back and we have these conversations, and whether they're about life or marriage, oftentimes I've got somebody's sexual kitchen sink all of a sudden in front of me, and I'm talking about these things, and I don't want to talk about it. Now, if somebody is struggling, absolutely pray for them. Absolutely. But I don't want to talk about it. If you want to keep the focus on marriage, I want to say there's a lot of problems with marriage. We're letting down marriage in the Christian community. We are. I don't say that pointing down. I say that pointing up, looking up at God, saying, yeah, we're letting down the covenant because of the divorce rates, because of the sexual immorality, because of pornography and the attacks on that, inside the institution itself. But outside the institution, there is an idea to redefine marriage. So that's what we start talking about. And that when we stand up in support of our beliefs, look at what happens to people in California with petitions and information getting out about them, people that signed the petition. Look what happens when a group stands up for traditional marriage. They're compared to the KKK. Look what happens when you got the Southern Poverty Law Center going out. They have maps to the FRC, and you have some Corkins fella go in there, nearly kill someone, and seeks to just do that? I mean, that's nut bar stuff. And yet, when Melissa Joan Hart goes and says she's going to support the Republican candidate and I guess the conservative choice in the election, wow, no tolerance, no engagement. When a conservative shows up to a college campus, wow, what happens? Shout down, brown shirt techniques, going and using them and shouting them down. Vandalism, physical attacks. And so what I would just call upon, two things. I would call upon leftists in general to denounce these acts and also to start distinguishing yourself between these hate groups that are truly hate groups or hateful people and acts and yourselves, and call them out big time. I would also remind us all that we have to continue to speak truth and love and be salt and light. And I don't say this as, oh, I'm praying through them and that's what I'm saying. If we don't, it's not going to get better. They're going to continue to try to define us in a false narrative, turning upside down what we understand as normal and even using the term normal in order to silence us. And people who are even on the same side or maybe are looking at it are afraid not to go with the people they disagree with. We're getting into that. In fact, we're already there. So what happened to Melissa Joan Hart being the devil, this is not unusual. And it's not coming from Christians. Just letting you know. But we're always accused of it. Hey, didn't Saul Alinsky say, accuse your enemy of what you do? Yeah. AFR talk.